Hello, fellow translators. So, have you come up with your New Year's resolutions yet? No? Good. For those of you following me for a while, you might know that I take my New Year's resolutions quite seriously. And so, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through how I go about my New Year's resolutions every year and how I make sure that I can pick the right ones and that I actually stick to them and that they actually make a difference by the end of the year. And hopefully, I'll show how you can use that for yourself in terms of your career, but also in terms of any other thing you want to accomplish, like hobbies, things you want to learn, things you want to do, things you want to do for fun, et cetera, et cetera. Because I really do like to set these New Year's resolutions every year, and they are a very important part of not only my business, but my life in general and the direction that my life goes in and how I conduct my life from day to day, month to month, week to week, throughout the whole year. Let's get into it. First of all, rather than New Year's resolutions, I like to call them New Year's goals because that's more or less what they are. And in that way, they're a lot more defined. New Year's resolution is usually something like I want to lose weight, I want to travel more, or whatever it is. And it doesn't really mean anything. And things should be well defined. And I usually have this, by the way, when I offer consulting services, is one of the first things. In fact, I think I have it in my in the form you have to fill out if you are interested in consulting services with me. I ask it there. I ask, what do you want to get out of translation? I can't remember exactly how it's worded, but how much do you want to be earning per month or per year, whatever it is? Because this is something concrete that people need. A lot of people, too many people, will say, I want to be a freelance translator. I want to start making money freelance translating, and that's it. You can't do that. You need a plan. And actually, at the end of the day, my New Year's resolutions turned into New Year's goals kind of become my business plan, not only for business, but for pretty much everything. When you're working for yourself, you're creating a business out of yourself. Now, companies, they always set up a business plan and they stick to it. So why shouldn't you do the same if this is your life? When you create this business plan, I realize you're not a company, you don't have all this data, so you're kind of shooting from the hip, as they say. Now, I don't know if the goals you make are going to be too idealistic or too realistic or too high, too low, or whatever it might be. One thing I can guarantee is that you will have to change your plans. Whatever goals you set, whatever plans you make, you're going to have to change them. This does not mean you shouldn't set them in the first place. A lot of people say, well, I had to change it, it didn't work out, so I just give up. No, but you change them as time goes on. So let's get into it a bit more and show specifically how to do this, because I think it's very important. And what we're going to do is we're going to work backwards. We start off with the end of the year. At the end of the year, what do you want to have accomplished? What do you want? What situation do you want to be in? Where do you want to see yourself? Now, I haven't done my New Year's goals yet for this year, and I probably won't do it, or for next year, I should say. Probably won't do it until after Christmas, but I wanted to discuss it with you now, and I might later share what mine are and show you and go through it, but I wanted to talk about it with you now just like this because I want you to come up with your own and not be overly influenced by what I do. But let me go over more or less what I do. I start at the end, and I ask myself, where do I want to be by the end of the year? Usually this will be something like, say it's earning X amount per month. Let's say you decide you want to earn, $3,000 per month from freelance translation, $4,000, whatever it might be. You're like, if I'm in that situation, then I don't have to worry about expenses and I'll be in a good situation. I don't have to care about bills or anything like that. And at that point, I can see if I want to expand a lot more, a lot less, or something like that. And by the way, even for these types of goals, because I ask what goals, and a lot of people want to say, I want to make $1 million or something like that, just a number that doesn't mean anything to them, let's say. What I recommend doing is picking a number that means something to you, but that once again, it's not realistic. I don't want you to be realistic. Too many people are going to tell you to be realistic, especially your friends who are not entrepreneurs or freelancers who work in a company. They'll be like, oh, don't do that, be more realistic. No, I want you to be idealistic. Idealistic, not realistic. And I want you to focus on your ideals. What would be ideal for you? What would be awesome for you? And, and people say, oh, I want to make $1 million, but that doesn't mean anything. You wouldn't know what to do with $1 million, I bet, if you had them. You could say, I buy this and that and the other and the other. Well, yeah, sure. Except this, that, and the other costs more than $1 million anyway. Yeah, if you're thinking about, I don't know, big mansions or whatever. So anyway, what I'm saying is come up with a number that fits what you want to do. And by the way, it doesn't always have to just be salary. For me, a lot of time it was travel, being able to travel while I work. and or whatever else it might be. Come up with something that works for you. You should be idealistic, but it should be something that works for you, that covers all the expenses for everything you want, and it lets you live the life you want. Come up with that number. You decide, say you want to earn $4,000 a month by the end of the year. What does that mean? Does that mean 4,000 every month? Or it probably means that by December, you want to be earning 4,000 for that month of December. Great. So at this point, you can work backwards. What I have is, at this point, I have goals for every 100 days. So I'll have my 100-day goal, my 200-day goal, my 300-day goal. And then I have those extra 65 days for leeway to tie up loose ends in case, whatever. But I more or less divide the year into 3 that way. And by the way, in my Google Calendar, I receive an alert after 100 days that tells me, okay, 100 days have passed, check with your goals. And I set up this alert on my Google Calendar for every 100, 200, and 300 days. So these 100-day goals, actually what you'll start is with, like, you have at the end of the year, I want to be earning 4,000 a month, say, or whatever it might be. So how much do you need to be earning after 200 days? And try to figure that out. And if you want to be earning that amount after 200 days, how much should you be earning after 100 days? Try to figure that out as well. Now, the amount you're earning doesn't always go up that way, or I guess if you're watching me, it'll go up that way anyway. But very often it's a curve that goes like this. Sometimes it can be a curve that goes like that. But anyway, try to figure it out. Now, once you've figured out what you need to be earning after 100 days, well, then you can divide it into months. And once again, I just divide that 100 into 3. It gives you a little bit extra leeway because 3 months is 90 days, more or less. And so you have that extra leeway just to tie up loose ends. But this means that in those 3 months, if you want to be earning X amount in 100 days, how much do you need to be earning these 3 months? Now, maybe the first month you need to prepare stuff and all that. So you start maybe halfway through the months or something along those lines. But anyway, at least this way you can come up with a plan that you can stick to and that you can follow and make sure that you're adhering to. And this is basically the general way that I do it. Now, a lot of issues can come up. First of all, maybe you're not attaining your goals and you find out after 1 month or X number of months. Let's say one of your goals was to get 10 clients per month. You got 1 client per month. What do you do there? Well, you could revise down your goal. Most people would do this and be like, well, that goal was way too unrealistic for, let's say 2 clients a month because that's more realistic. I advise not doing that. Like I said, do not be realistic, be idealistic. So you had 10 goals, 10 clients as a goal, and you only achieved 1. Try to look into this. That 1 client you achieved, maybe what industry was it in? If it was, say, in the legal profession, concentrate all your stuff in the legal profession. Don't waste your time with the other stuff. Or maybe you need to switch it up entirely. Maybe you've been sending out, 3, 4 emails every day. And you're like, well, 3 or 4 emails every day is a lot to be writing every single day, send out those 3, 4 emails. Well, guess what? It's not enough. Maybe you need to be sending 10, 20 emails every day, maybe 100 emails every day, because this causes you to change your mindset. You've been typing up these emails one by one. Maybe you need to use a template. Maybe you need to use one of those email programs that sends out the emails for you once you just plug in the email addresses. Maybe you need to hire a freelancer to do this marketing aspect for you. Maybe it's worth making that monetary investment in order to kind of raise the level, take it to the next level so you can be attaining these goals. And that's what I encourage you to do. Rather than bring down your goals, try to find a way to step up your game to achieve those goals as you're going throughout the year. And that's basically it. Now, I've been talking about career goals. I like to do this for all of my stuff in terms of hobbies, in terms of learning new languages, in terms of health and fitness, stuff like that. I try to see, okay, at the end of the year, where would I ideally like to be? What would be my ideal situation? And work backward from there and create a real plan that I can stick to and I can tweak as time goes by. Certain things I will have to tweak as time goes by. And I can do that and then tweak my goals respectively as time goes by, as the year goes by, and then try to figure that out. And yeah, that's pretty much what I do. And I find it works well for me. And I know it can get sort of convoluted. You have these 100-day goals, you have these monthly goals and stuff like that. It works for me. I want you to see what works for you. And if you have any other suggestions or any other things that you like, then please feel free to let me know. I haven't gone into other stuff like how to hold yourself accountable to these goals. Maybe you have a partner and you can hold each other accountable to them and stuff like that. But either way, I think this is a good way to start. And rather than just see them as New Year's resolutions, use this impetus, use this inspiration to create New Year's goals, i.e. a business plan, not only for your business, but for your life in general and for your hobbies. And I really recommend having other hobbies, having other things you do, because you're going to have low points in business. And so it helps to have high points in other things to make you feel like you're progressing, even if maybe your business is stagnating for a bit or something like that. We've all seen this year. This year, for a lot of people, for a lot of businesses, was a lot of stagnation. And so it helps to have other stuff, other interests as well that keep you going. So that's basically all I wanted to share with you. And hopefully it helps you out for the new year, for setting up your New Year's resolutions, your New Year's goals. Please feel free to share them with me. Please feel free to let me know your thoughts. And please feel free to, share them in public, so then we can all hold you accountable, and we can revisit it next year and try to make sure that you've been achieving those goals, because I think that would be an interesting exercise. And in fact, maybe I'll do another video at the beginning of next year where I sort of do that. I allow you to enter in your goals, and then we can revisit it after a year or after however long to make sure that you're attaining them. I think that could be an interesting exercise to all do together. But for now, I just wanted to lay it out there, and hopefully this will give you some food for thought. Otherwise, that's pretty much it, and I will talk to you next time. So actually, no, before I go, though, I do want to leave you a little bit of homework. I want you to right now think about, at least for one of these aspects, health and fitness, hobby, your career, whatever it might be. Think what you would like, the main thing, one thing that you would like to attain by the end of the year, one situation you would like to be in. I want you to do that. And at least for yourself, so you have it there, because I want this to be actionable to you. And so if you've watched this video until this point, that's what I want you to do. That's your homework, because I think you'll get a lot more out of it if you actually do something and jot at least something down right now. Otherwise, that's pretty much it, and I will talk to you next time. Okay, thanks. Bye. Sabido.